He did receive a guard of honor from his RCB teammates. Later, the league's broadcaster confirmed the news of his retirement with a social media post after the Eliminator contest. Karthik made his debut in the T20 League 16 years ago. He remains one of the finest finishers in this format. Karthik took off his gloves and acknowledged the fans as RCB players went around the stadium, thanking the spectators for their support. He could be seen being embraced by Virat Kohli, and he was fighting to keep his emotions under control. Karthik ends his IPL career with 4,842 runs in 257 matches, which includes 22 50s. In his career over 17 years, Karthik is featured for 6 franchises in the IPL. He made his debut in the inaugural season in 2008 with Delhi Daredevils, which is now called the Delhi Capitals. He made a switch to Punjab in 2011 and thereafter went on to play for Mumbai Indians, Gujarat Lions, Kolkata Knight Riders and the RCB. He ended the ongoing season with 326 runs in 15 matches at an average of 36.22 and a strike rate of 187.36. Okay. From one fairy tale that wasn't to be in cricket to another incredible fairy tale that couldn't reach its perfect end in football. Bayer Leverkusen were not beaten in 51 games. They were 2 games away from creating history, but Gian Piero Gasparini's Atalanta stunned Xabi Alonso's team in the Europa League final to claim their first trophy in 61 years. Bayer Leverkusen were heavily tipped to become the first team in European football history to win 3 major trophies without defeat by adding the Europa League and the German Cup to their Bundesliga trophy. But the Italian side, Atalanta, had other plans. They were not swayed by the spotlight on the German dream. Instead, they dominated right from the start, attacking regularly to force Leverkusen to commit one mistake after another. Atalanta's Ademola Lookman had the best night of his life as he became the first player in the history of the Europa League to score a hat-trick in the final. He began Leverkusen's destruction with the opening goal in the 12th minute. But it was his second of the night that lit up a boisterous Aviva stadium as he nutmegged Xhaka before a perfect finish from 20 yards. Leverkusen, whose story has been filled with amazing dramatic comebacks, could not fashion another this time. Lookman fired his third in the 76th minute to bring Leverkusen's glorious 51 games unbeaten run to an end. Atalanta coach Gian Piero Gasparini's tactical masterclass had knocked out Premier League heavyweights Liverpool in the quarter-finals and 3-time finalists Marseille in the semi-finals of the Europa League. Gasparini has made sure that his team has become the only team to defeat Leverkusen in this campaign.
Could you have imagined in your remotest, wildest dreams when you were a Charlton boy that this night would materialise for you?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah. You know, I've always had the confidence in my ability to, you know, to create, to score goals, to help my teammates, assist them. And, you know, in the past 2 years, like I said, I've been able to take my game to a new level and been able to show that on a more consistent basis. So maybe it would have came earlier, but it's come now. You know, I'm pleased with the progress that I've made, but this is just the beginning. I hope for more nights like this, and just hope to progress and to get better and better.
Xabi Alonso and his team will feel the pain of losing the Europa League final, but this season has already been remarkable and they can still create history by achieving an unbeaten double by beating Kaiserslautern in the German Cup final in Berlin on Saturday.
Not from the first minute, from their goal and even a little bit before, they have been over us, and today was not. It was not in terms of attitude, it was football thing. I try to explain the defeats as well in football terms, try to analyze that, but that doesn't change my my thoughts and my appreciation for these players. It happens, it's football. Today it was not meant to be, it wasn't our day, they were better. So we try to, first defeat in the season, it will be a test how we deal with it. because we have another big thing on Saturday. Normally it happens earlier in the season, but once it's the first one in such a big game, it hurts for sure. But we need to deal with this pain in a positive way, try to transform it in a good energy for the next thing.
As the saying goes, all good things come to an end. Similarly, Bayer Leverkusen's unbeaten streak had to be broken at some point. But what they've already achieved this season, not only by becoming the Bundesliga champions, but the manner in which they've created this fairy tale with a young and promising Xabi Alonso guiding them, they can be very proud of their magical story. Now, thousands of jubilant Atalanta fans gathered in Bergamo on Wednesday to witness their team win a European trophy for the first time with a victory over Bayer Leverkusen. With that hat-trick in the Europa League final, Atalanta scored a comfortable victory over Ademola Lookman. He scored a stunning hat-trick, clinching only their second major trophy in their 117-year history. In Bergamo's Piazza Vittorio Veneto, there was an outpouring of emotion as thousands of blue and black clad fans saw their side lift the trophy after suffering heartbreak in the Coppa Italia final against Juventus last week.
It's super emotional to see Atalanta growing so much. I wasn't expecting this. It's magic. It's magic.
I think of my dad who supported Atalanta since he was 5 years old and had never seen them win. So now it's more for him, for everyone, for Bergamo. Very beautiful. Very beautiful.
There's a change of ownership at the Italian Serie A club Inter Milan. The US-based fund manager Oaktree Capital Management took control of the team from China's Suning Holding Group company after the Serie A defending champions owner failed to repay 395 million euros. Oaktree has released a statement in which they spoke about it. Suning had bought a majority stake in the club in 2016, but in 2017, China imposed curbs on overseas spending in sport. Suning was also hit financially by the COVID-19 downturn. Oaktree, which has around $192 billion in assets under management, provided the Chinese conglomerate with the rescue capital needed for the club to survive in 2021 as it was hit by financial instability during the pandemic. In the past 3 years, Inter Milan won multiple tournaments, including its 20th Serie A, and ending as the runners-up in the 2023 season of the UEFA Champions League. As new owners, they've said that they know about their great responsibility towards the community. This is what Alejandro Cano, the managing director and co-head of Oaktree's Global Opportunity Strategy for Europe, has said in a statement. On to tennis. Now, if Roger Federer is playing any tennis anywhere in the world, we have to bring it to you. So here we go. Federer played some tennis with children as he inaugurated a new stadium in the Paris suburb of La Courneuve on Wednesday. Federer, with 20 Grand Slam singles titles, which include a record 8 at Wimbledon, and who many regard as the greatest player of all time, spent some time with the kids. He retired in 2022 at the age of 41. Known for his versatile playing style, he's won 103 ATP titles, including 20 Grand Slam titles, a record 8 Wimbledon titles, as I just said, 6 Australian Open titles, 5 US Open titles, and 1 French Open title. His career was marked by his rivalry with other tennis greats such as Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. From one legend to another, 8 times Grand Slam champion Andre Agassi will captain Team World from next year's Laver Cup. This has been confirmed now. Former world number one who retired from the sport in 2006 and coached Novak Djokovic from 2017 to 2018 will begin his role at the 2025 Laver Cup, which will take place in San Francisco. Agassi replaces compatriot John McEnroe, who's captained Team World since the inaugural edition of the three-day team tournament, which pits 6 top men's players from Europe against 6 of their counterparts from the rest of the world. This year's Laver Cup will be held in Berlin from September 20th to the 22nd.
Dad, when I was 5, you told me to win Wimbledon. When I was 7, you told me to win all of the 4 Grand Slams. And more times than I can remember, you told me to get into the Hall of Fame. And when I was 29, I don't know if you remember this, you told me to marry Steffi Graf. I look at my wife and my children, who I live for, and I say, thank you, tennis.
That was after he was inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Let's move on then. No woman has raced in Formula One for nearly half a century, but a group of 13 and 14-year-old female racers are making their first moves on a long road that could lead to the top. Watch this story.
These teenage female drivers are taking on Formula One. No woman has raced in the motorsport for nearly half a century. But these 13 and 14-year-olds all share one dream: to become the first female F1 world champion.
The number one aim is Formula One, of course.
This is Yvonne Simeonova. She's part of a female racing development program called More Than Equal, an initiative co-founded by former racer David Coulthard. Okay. The idea is to give female drivers equal opportunity.
I think we need more girls in Formula One and in motorsport because we are all equal, and I mean we should get the same chances.
At this training and assessment camp, there are half a dozen trainees. 4 from Europe, 1 from Australia, and 1 from Malaysia.
Keep turning.
British talent Sky Parker says the teens are starting from scratch.
So on the first day, we learned how to actually drive the car because a lot of us have never done that before. And on the second day, which is today, we learned how to drift, as usually when I attempted drifting, I would just slide and spin, but this time I learned how to control it.
British driving coach Sarah Morris says there are a lot of misconceptions about women in the sport. She used to race in the now defunct all-female W Series and says one of the biggest skills the young female drivers need to learn is not physical, it's mental.
I think one of the biggest things you have to deal with as a girl, especially coming up through karting and as you progress into cars, is the comments that you receive around the paddock on social media. I think that's one thing that as a female I've had to learn to deal with, or more so learn to ignore.
The last woman to race in Formula One was Italy's Lella Lombardi in 1976. The sport now has its own all-female F1 Academy support series, led by former racer Susie Wolff. Just as those drivers could be seen as potential role models, Slovakian driver Laura Bubanova says she hopes she can serve as one in the future.
I'd like to be viewed as a role model for them in the future. I'd like to establish myself as a very good driver, not as I get to Formula One because I'm a woman, but I'm there because I'm talented, I'm good enough to do this, and I do it because I love it.
That ink is a semi-permanent dye called the indelible ink.
We are the sole manufacturer of this indelible ink.
Don't try to repair something which is working.
And if you have facial recognition, you can go vote in any booth anywhere based on where you are, and then it will be recorded that you can't vote anywhere else again.
Can we retire indelible ink and use biometrics? Theoretically, my answer would be yes.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
America, there is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration, with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. You know, these are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. Life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
World premiere every Saturday on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
वो
पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब, तुम बतलाओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या।
I told him, you do what you think is best, I will not insist.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Forever there are simultaneous election of parliament, assembly and municipality and panchayat. So that framework has to be given in the constitution. That amendment has been suggested.
Are you going to take away the power of dissolution?
I mean, it doesn't require any rocket science to do this. It's a simple constitutional amendment, and the idea is everything goes together.
The Law Commission has set the ball rolling for one nation, one election. Basically, if all goes well, then India may see simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha, state assemblies, municipalities and panchayats in 2029.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with it?
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak?
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
Welcome to News 9 Live, and you are watching On Point with me. I have 9 on points on 9 top stories for you, but let me begin with the first on point. Two election masters come out with two entirely different outcomes of the Lok Sabha elections. Who will get the election right? Yogendra Yadav or Prashant Kishore? Today, we will discuss the divergent views of India's two leading election specialists. Yes, I am talking about Yogendra Yadav and Prashant Kishore. Yogendra Yadav is an academician and a psephologist. Prashant Kishore successfully crafted and created election management system. His agency and he himself is credited with many wins, including 2014 Lok Sabha election campaign for then Narendra Modi. And subsequently he diversified into number of regional elections, specifically one which he organized with Mamata Banerjee, in which Bharatiya Janata Party got defeated in Vidhan Sabha, and return of Jagan Mohan Reddy as a powerful state politician. Yogendra Yadav's analysis of the election remains impeccable. Today, both of them have come out with two different outcomes of the Lok Sabha election.